Hey, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a review of the Atlas 6. I haven't done a review on this channel before, so this will be my first. So the Atlas 6 is a adult fantasy / science fiction. You can find it in the science fiction section of Barnes & Noble. I started it like 2 days ago. I stayed up late last night to finish it because I could not put this book down. So for this review, I'm going to do a little non-spoiler section, and then I'll give you a warning, and I'm going to go into some more like spoilery thoughts. So I did rate this 5 stars on Goodreads because it was so good, and the second book doesn't come out until 2022 in like winter. So I'm kind of upset about that because I need the next one like now, because the way this book ended, I need more. And I'm very stressed out. I was very stressed out last night reading this book. So the Atlas 6 follows a group of 6 people. They are basically like, they're not actually like witches, because witches are lower down than them, but they're basically like witches. They're magical people. And Atlas Blakely chooses 6 of them to come and potentially join the Alexandrian Society. So what the Alexandrian Society is this society that is protecting the Library of Alexandria, like the one that in history burned down. Well, in this world, it did not. They have people protecting it, and only a very small percent of the population can have access to its archives. And so if you get initiated into this society and make it past it, then you have access. And as they go through, they can get more and more books from the library, but the library only gives access to certain things to these people. So like no one can have access to all of the books in the archives. The library gives you what you need, and that's like it. So these 6 people we have Libby and Nico, who are trained in like the physicality aspect of magic, so they can like manipulate particles in the air and like fire, the elements, that sort of thing. And then we have another one that's technically also kind of in the physicalities, but she is a naturalist, and that is Raina. I think that's how you say her name. She basically plants call to her, and they grow when she's around, and she's kind of like an energy source. We also have Tristan, who can see through illusions, and even to the point where he can see parts of things instead of things as a whole, so he can see them in their most basic elements. We have Parisia, who can read minds. And then we have Callum, who is an empath, so he can feel emotions and alter emotions. And so the 6 of these people are invited to come and spend a year, and at the end of that year, only 5 of them can actually be initiated, and 1 of them must be eliminated. I'll get more into that in like the spoiler section of this, but basically it's just a competition where they're testing their magic and seeing who basically is the best and who is needed to continue. They have to set wards up, that sort of thing. And so it's basically just them testing their powers as they go on to see like what 5 of them should continue. The reason that I like this book is the characters are really well developed. All of them have really unique backstories and kind of reasons too why some of them have certain powers, and the relationships between each of these people are so unique. So it's in all 6 of their perspectives at different points. And so you can see everyone's relationship with the different people in the house. Also, there are pictures in this book, and I'll show you one. They're really cool. So each of the characters have their own like art that is inside of the book. And they're at the end, or like at the beginning of each section. So there is technically 9, but 8 sections, and at the beginning of each section there's a new character art. So that's really cool as well, and I really enjoyed that. Like, we don't do picture books, you know, but it was really nice to be able to see like what the author pictured them as in each section. So that was really cool as well. Also, since it is kind of dark academia, her writing style fits perfectly. It's not too confusing, so like the fantasy aspect of it is set in like the real world, and everything is explained in a way that it's not super difficult to understand, but she does write in a way that it makes you feel very academic, and she sounds like everyone in this sounds very intelligent, but it's not confusing. So I thought that was really nice, and the ending of it is what really tipped it off for me. It left me hanging, and I just need to know more. And so if you do decide to give this a go, I am telling you, it's worth it. So now I'm going to jump into my spoiler section of this review. So as I was reading this, at first Nico and Libby hate each other, and I really truly thought they were the enemies to lovers I needed. And the first half of this book, I was like, if they don't get together, I'm going to be really mad. Yeah, I was incorrect on that, because I decided about halfway through that I wanted her and Tristan to be together. But now I'm not sure, literally, if there's going to be any love, hopefully in the second one. But I switched from Nico and Libby to Libby and Tristan midway through the book. Yeah, I was just incorrect on that one. Also, the two that people seem to hate the most are Parisia and Callum. Like, within the house, they hate them. I absolutely despise Callum. I think he is so gross and manipulative. I mean, Parisia's manipulative too, but Callum is just not for me. I do not like him. He was the one the whole time that I was like, yeah, he needs to get nixed, like, done for. You also, in the middle of this book, find out, if you've read it, you know, that by eliminating, they mean literally, like, they have to choose someone to kill. And so this whole time I was like, if they don't kill Callum, I'm gonna be so angry. And that's all I wanted, was for Callum to end up dead. If you've read it, that's obviously not what happens, and it really made me mad. So I'm just gonna talk about, like, the ending and, like, how I felt about the ending, because if you're at this point, you've already read this book. I am dumb, because the Ezra being involved and him being the one who, like, took Libby out of her consciousness or whatever, did not, it shocked me, because I literally, I mean, I guess I should have realized when there was the chapter where Tristan met him as a traveler, and then there's a chapter about Atlas speaking to Ezra, and then there's just the Ezra chapter explaining that he took Libby, because basically him and Atlas had this whole idea of, like, bringing down the society, and then he realizes that will bring about the end of the world, and so he wants to stop it, and so he takes Libby out of the equation, because he knows that without her, they can't do it. And he was kind of supposed to also come in and, like, be one of the six, so it was suggested for him to, after they kill Callum, to come in and kill Parisia, and then he could be one of the six and be initiated, and they would all do it together. Callum was always supposed to die in the eyes of Atlas. That's why they got him. He was never really supposed to be there. And so I'm just, like, sitting here reading this whole plot, mind blown, because none of that registered with me until I got to the end of this book, and wow, I need another one, because Libby is gone and they're all being initiated. They have no idea this is happening, and it shocked me. Like, I really didn't think Atlas was going to be bad. I really didn't think Ezra was going to be involved. But then I was thinking at the end of the book, I was like, oh, well, they really did talk about Ezra a lot, and they didn't talk about the rest of their families, or, like, have the rest of their families actually in it. So, like, why would they be, you know, talking about him if he's not going to be significant? I was just dumb, I guess. So basically at the end, he takes Libby. They all had planned to kill Callum. It doesn't happen. And basically they've decided they're going to go forth with initiation with the 5 that are left. And that's kind of where it ends. And all I know is that in this next book, Ezra and Libby better figure out how to bring Atlas down and come back, because I need Libby to come back. And I definitely want them to stop Atlas. I've decided the society kind of sucks, but also at the same time, like, it's needed. They're just not great. So for me, it was really interesting to see, like, Parisia go into Dalton's mind, and also still kind of confused about what's up with Dalton. I think Atlas altered his mind in some way, because, like, young Dalton seems trapped inside of his mind, so he's not the same person he was. So I'm wondering if Parisia will be able to help him at all, or if it's just I'm overthinking it and maybe I'm just, like, dumb and I didn't comprehend correctly. Also, I'm pretty interested to see what we learn, like, more about Raina. I feel like she wasn't touched on a lot. Her chapters weren't, like, the most exciting to read out of all of them, so I'm hoping we get more Raina in the next book. Also, Gideon. Okay, Gideon was interesting, and I'm still kind of confused about him. I'm hoping they explain more about Gideon in the next book, because at the end there I couldn't tell if he was still great. He was giving me some sketch vibes at the end of this book. So that I'm also interested to see what happens with him and Nico. And I just would also like to know more about how his everything works, because he's a creature technically, he's a hybrid breed, and he can go through dreams. And then there's also Max, and I'm confused about the Max dog situation. Is he a part of Gideon? I think I just skipped over that and I don't remember, so maybe I should look more into that. But overall, I really enjoyed all of the characters except for Callum. I hated Callum. But I still think that they did a really well job of explaining him and his motivations. Well, he was not really motivated by anything, and that sort of thing. And I just felt like the plot kept moving. Every time it would start to get slow and they'd be experimenting or just researching, something would happen, like Prisha going into Dalton's mind, or the installation, or them being approached by the forum. I would love to know more about the forum in the next book and what that's all about, because I think that Ezra is connected to the forum. It's kind of hinted at the end that one of the forum people who contacts Raina is the person that Ezra's speaking to in the last chapter or in the end chapter. So I'm very interested to see how that progresses in the next book. But I really enjoyed this read. It was really good. I couldn't put it down yesterday. I read I was at 43% on Goodreads when I started this yesterday, and I finished it. So I sat down and I could not stop. It was really good. If you like fantasy, if you like anything with really well written characters and relationships between characters, this book is for you. So that's all I have on the Atlas 6. I rated it 5 stars. I loved it. This was probably a terrible review. I've not done a review on my channel before, so I'm going to have to get better at them. So we're going to work on that together. And I probably just rambled. But next review, hopefully, I'll have my life more put together. And the next review should be Dune, because I'm starting Dune today, and I am going to do a reading vlog, and I will probably just include the review at the end of the reading vlog. And so those are my plans, and then I'm jumping straight into my fall TBR from the video I posted the other day. If you've read this book, let me know if you agree with any of the things I said. Also, if you have a better grasp on the Gideon situation or anything that I clearly seem confused about, let me know and explain it to me, because I am a little confused on some things. And I don't know if it's just because it will be explained in the next book, or if I just wasn't paying attention and comprehending correctly. So definitely let me know in the comments if you want to talk about it. You can also go to my Bookstagram, which is at Riley's Library, or my TikTok, which is at Riley's Library, if you want to see more content from me. And that's all. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.